At Scribble, we're actually changing the way that people are working with online information, specifically how you actually research and curate information off the web in a post-PC world. Today, we all turn to the web for all kinds of information related to school, work, and personal projects. Unfortunately, the way that we personalize that information, the way that we flag it, the way that we comment on it, the way that we distill it down to the pieces that really matter, is still sort of stuck in the desktop era. So regardless of what your workflow is today, whether you copy into Word, whether you copy into emails to be able to comment on it for a colleague, or even print it out to literally write on it with a pen or a highlighter, those workflows and that way of working is broken. It's outdated, it's a waste of time, and we don't like it. So it was actually part of the inspiration behind the company for me, because I had actually faced those problems when I was coming out of graduate school. I was actually looking for jobs online, and I'd go to different websites of companies I wanted to interview with, and I would basically face these problems that you see on the slide behind me. And what we've done is we've actually thought very deeply about the problems that are involved with the way that you process information off the web, the way that you pull it off the web, what you do with it, how you process it, how you share it, et cetera. And unfortunately, even some of the systems that you might think are sort of more modern and are used to working, dealing with these problems, like Evernote and Delicious, were not actually designed to solve the problems that we've been thinking about. So we have developed a system that we think is actually going to change the way that people work on the web forever and the way that they process that information. Specifically, let's take a look at what that is. We actually have developed a very sophisticated bookmarklet that actually sits in the bookmarks part of your browser. You can actually click on that bookmarklet whenever you're reading or researching on the web. And what happens is that our toolbar will actually load on any page on the internet. You can then use a rich set of annotation tools to richly annotate the web page, as well as comment directly on it, kind of use the way that you're familiar with doing, let's say, in the offline world. You can also use something that we've developed called a legend to be able to kind of make sense of the annotation. So for example, if you're working in a collaborative setting, you might say the yellow highlights are Susie's and the blue highlights are Bill's, for example. You can then use a set of sharing tools, both social media and ones that we've developed, that allow you to easily be able to share that information with other folks that you might be working with or friends and family. But you can also grab a permalink to an annotated page or share via email. And of course, when you've done all that research, you want to be able to archive it. You want to be able to get back to it later, and you want to be able to organize it for yourself. So you can actually save this annotated research to an online account in the cloud that we call your personal library. And the great thing about the personal library is it's a really powerful organizational sort of a system. We give you the ability to not only use filters and tags to be able to organize it, categorize it, find it again, et cetera. We also employ full text search of the content that's in your library. So just like it's very easy to find an email in Gmail, it's very easy to find an article that you've annotated and archived to your online library within your Scribble account. So who is behind Scribble? It's myself. In the founding team, it's myself and my co-founder, Andrew Delfa. We've actually both worked together before in a startup called InsuranceOrder.com that was sold to Marsh & McLennan. We were actually early team members of that team. And so we've actually had success, we've actually had experience helping to build a venture that's had a successful exit. We've also got some great networks behind us. So the Trilogy Alumni Network, Stanford Alumni Network, a program called the Startup Leadership Program, and BASES, which is an organization out of Stanford as well. So we think that we've got some great networks that are helping us build this business. Beyond the networks, we actually have some great organizations and some recognition that I'd like to point out. We've been very fortunate to have the support of the National Science Foundation, which has supported us through 2 grants through their SBIR program, totaling $600,000. We were actually chosen to be in Startup Alley at the annual EDUCAUSE conference, which focuses on higher ed tech. We were invited to be at the Eureka Park area, which is a new part of the Consumer Electronics Show in January that focuses on startups. And most recently, as I mentioned, we were at South by Southwest, and we were finalists in the Accelerator competition. So with that, I'm going to stop here and take questions and just leave up some user testimonials that you can read through while we're going through Q&A to see what people are saying about what we do. Thanks.